So as you can see, like over here, I fed these guys now yesterday, and it's been cold here, and you can tell here we're at 68, 70, which isn't bad, but you can tell by all the food that's left over, their metabolism rate is slowed down significantly, and they're not eating as much. And so I had to turn on these extra side heaters. You can see them smaller ones. You kind of want to keep these piranhas at, especially now that they're older. These guys are definitely 10 to, I don't know, well over 10 years old. And any colder and all their colors are starting to fade. They're barely, you know what I mean? They're barely moving and everything. You really, at this age, you want their metabolism up. So to keep them nice and sharp and hungry and eating. So I like to keep it at, I don't like to go below 74 degrees. Because you'll start to notice they won't eat as much and the filters will start clogging up. And so I turned on their second heaters. But like I said, you know, that costs, man, just electric bill now. You're talking the heaters, the bigger heaters I think are 200 watts each or 150 watts each. And you got these smaller ones are probably 50 to 100 watts. So when they're all running, you're probably talking 25, 30 to 50 bucks. I'd maybe even 40, 50 bucks a month just to keep them at they can live at 50 degrees, but you don't want to do that to your piranhas. They're used to the Amazon rainforest. It's just not the right thing to do. Anyway, this water is warm, so I'm going to bring up their temperatures in the tank, and I put in their, I don't know, it's just something interesting for a video, because you're supposed to keep putting videos on, they said, for the YouTube algorithm and to keep people interested. I got nobody to keep interested anyway, but anyway, I'm adding warm water to try to bring the temperature up just a little bit here. But yeah, their metabolism rate will slow down so much so that this one over here quit eating. And then they'll only eat a couple times a week, you know. Once you bring up that temperature, then their metabolism rate goes up. Their colors get way brighter. Once you get up towards 78 degrees where I usually keep them. Right now, you can see right here, they're at 68 degrees. And that's okay. You can do that. But they really start to get healthy and happy around 76, 78 degrees. They really get a lot of energy, and they'll eat every day. And you'll notice there's a lot less waste in the tank too if you can get it right to the right around there. Anyway, I'm sure people were like that workout were looking at me lifting weights yesterday or whatever 2 days ago and thought, well, this guy doesn't even have any weight on there. Right, well, I could stack this up with a bunch of weight and I could lift it. But it's more like it's a strained lift, you know? Like, just because you go to the gym and you see people lifting, like, heavy weights, if they're not having any type of form, they're just asking for injury. So, like, I could stack on a bunch of weight here and I'll get it. But are my muscles going to grow? I mean, because you're just using your whole body to pull it, you know? You might not see it on camera, but I'm using dang near my whole body to pull this weight, you know? I'm using my back. I'm not isolating my arms, you know? And that makes such a huge difference. So don't let people make you feel like you're not lifting enough weight. Like, I could put even more weight on there. And I could try to impress people. I could stack this all the way up, and I'll get them up. But if you notice, I was using my whole body to lift it. And that's not the key. The key is to get a perfect, nice, slow range of motion like this, where you can isolate your biceps. And you get a nice tension right there on the peaks at about 90 degrees. Right at about 90 degrees here. You get a nice tension on your peaks. And I don't like to go any further down than that, because if I were to, you could adjust this machine and go further down, you're really stretching that bicep out where you don't really need the tension in the first place on the joints. You don't want it there. But anyway, that's why you don't see me with a whole ton of weight, because you really want to get tension on. I can really feel it here on my arms, right in the peak, because otherwise I'm going to be using my whole body when I got heavy weights, and you really want to concentrate in those peaks there. Anyway, talking and spitting. Anyway, I was just thinking about that the other day. I didn't explain anything about it. It just looks like I'm just like, why is this guy even doing these?